Hey, my friends, my beautiful empaths, my highly sensitives, my intuitives, and my just amazing people with beautiful lightworker hearts. Hello, want to say hi, and I'm here to chat with you for my empath chat today. And hold on while I'm just sharing this out a little bit. And so I hope you're having an amazing day, my friends. Okay, so I'm here to talk to you about the one thing you need to do as an empath, as a highly sensitive, as an intuitive, to heal or begin your healing process. And this is something you may have heard before, but I'm going to bring it up again because it's not always easy. As empaths, we can be very, very sensitive to other people's energy, the energy of a place or a situation, and we can take them in and we can hold on to them. We can be very, very kind of open to relationships that are toxic. If we do allow that, we can be very, very sensitive and very empathetic and compassionate, which is wonderful for the collective feelings in the world and for those who are close to us and whatnot. Sometimes even intuitively, people we're not even around, we can sense and feel that. So these are the gifts that we have. And however, sometimes we feel like it's all too much. You might get overwhelmed. You might feel like it's unbearable. You might feel like you're exhausted. You might feel like you're drained or even being invaded. You might feel like you are unable to navigate your way through the world and without having, some sort of a breakdown, or you don't even want to go out. And if you all know what I mean, you can drop an emoji or drop me a comment, let me know. And so here's the interesting thing that we need to understand as empaths to heal, which is not the easiest thing to admit sometimes, that every trigger that we have, every single trigger, whether it's somebody else, it's a certain situation, maybe a repetitive pattern of something toxic, everything that we come across is part of our shadow self. So we need to be able to look at our shadow self and find out where those triggers come from, even though it feels like, and sometimes we're so tempted, and I'm not by any means saying that what you feel isn't real. It's all real. It's all very real. It's legit. And as an empath myself, I understand, and my heart goes out and I give you a big virtual hug, and I get it. But it took me having to look at my shadow sides and wonder why I was getting triggered by certain people, certain situations, certain things that people would say, certain ways they would behave, certain things in the world that would really bother me. And even certain toxic patterns in my life of, like things that I knew weren't serving me, that I would attract again and again, or that I would do to myself again and again. Every single one of them, even though it's so tempting to blame the other person, it's so tempting to check out and numb ourselves. And this is where empaths can get into really, really tough habits like addictions. And it's part of that is trying to ground ourselves. Like we start to feel like we're so taken over by all of this emotion and stimulus that we're trying hard to ground ourselves in ways that are sometimes unhealthy. So, like addictions or unhealthy patterns of coping, things like that. And what the real issue is, what we have to be willing to look at in order to really, really heal, like lasting healing, and the key to your own freedom is being willing to look at the dark side. We all have a dark side. Even if we think we're the most amazing, woke, enlightened, good-hearted person in the world, we all have a dark side. So it's that comes from, our dark sides come from our conditioning, things that we learned when we were younger, things that we saw, we heard, we were told, words that were spoken over us, ways we were treated, things that we suppressed or repressed inside of ourselves. And a lot of times those things are our gifts. Things that were repressed inside of us were the very things that we need to bring out that are our gifts. And eventually, when we repress and suppress something for so long, it starts to get louder and louder. And sometimes it manifests in ways that aren't the prettiest, that aren't the healthiest. So being willing to look at each one of those shadows from our past and take those hurts that are not healed and not processed, they just want to be seen. right? You don't have to heal another person to do this. You don't have to fix another person. You don't have to fix the problems of the world. You don't have to take on the collective pain, right? And this doesn't mean we don't feel the compassion, the empathy, and send love and light. We do. We always do that, right? But in order to really heal so that we can show up as our best empath selves and we can actually step into the gifts that we have in a more powerful way and create this epic life, is looking at being willing and making the decision to look at the shadows, look at the triggers, and see where does that come from in your own life. Just with as much of a neutral kind of mindset as you can, not blaming another person, not blaming a situation, not blaming anything that's going on in the world, right? Or not, any mindset that says we're, going to hell in a handbasket, or we're screwed, or any of that kind of stuff. I have the worst luck. I always attract this. Take any of those limiting beliefs or any of those beliefs about anybody else or assumptions and, suspend them and just say, where's this coming from? What part of my shadow do I need to look at in order to transmute it and transcend it? And it's okay that it's there, and accept that it's there. It's absolutely okay if we have these sides of us that aren't friendly or aren't the most loving sometimes, or have these thoughts that aren't so great. It's okay. I shouldn't even say great, because that sounds like a judgment, that aren't of the light. It's okay. It's okay. We're all going to have this. So, but being willing to see that and know where our triggers come from mean that we can finally heal it. We can do the shadow work to heal it and get past it, and just be able to transmute it into the light, transmute it into a place where you can be fully present to step into your gifts. Any of our triggers simply takes us out of the present moment and takes us away from our connection from the divine, and has us step out of our gifts and stays in our ego mind and stay in that smaller space, right? So it's so important to do this shadow work. And if you want to know more about shadow work, you can comment below, you can message me, you can, get in touch with me, because that's a whole other topic within itself that I won't go into here, but we are going to touch upon this in my program, The Awakened Empath, which is coming up September 9th. We begin September 9th for 8 weeks to talk about all of this, how to take those shadow sides, be able to face them and transmute them, and be able to use them to know more about ourselves and actually empower ourselves to show up in a more powerful, just probably joyful, more free, to feel free and feel like you are not burdened with this anymore, right? And show up and really show up as your best self for your own life and for the people around you. So that is something that we are really going to dive into really deep. And if you want to know more about that, definitely get in touch with me as soon as you can, because we start, now in almost a month. Tomorrow it's going to be a month. And those of you who want to know more about other people's stories about how they overcame all of their own obstacles and got out of their own way and really was willing to go on their own spiritual awakening, shadow side and the light, go to awakenedempathlive.com and put your name and email in and get access to my interviews with 21 amazing spiritual teachers who are going to explain to you how they did exactly this type of work and then created this life of just passion, purpose, prosperity, and get the clarity you've been longing for, because I know you're out there. I've been there. I know how that feels, and I know where you're at. You just want to stop this merry-go-round and be clear about who you are, what your gifts are, how you can use them, and step into this life that you absolutely love and that feels like it's coming from an authentic place that's truly in alignment with who you are. And you deserve that. Every single one of you deserve to live that way. All right, so, and the time is now. If not now, when? Go get her done, or start the journey. We don't put a time frame on it, right? This is not a rush. You want this to be lasting change, not just a Band-Aid. So this is the work that I'm doing with empaths right now and highly sensitive, intuitive, and psychics to really have you step into your power. It's not a Band-Aid solution. It's really creating your authentic life and having you feel empowered to be able to step up and go out and be that light worker you've been longing to be. All right, so I love you all so much. And if you know of anyone who wants to join our interview series, would love to have access to that, or would love to dive more into helping themselves feel more empowered and less chaotic, and would love to know about the Awakened Empath program, please share this out. I would love for you to do that and just share the absolute love and get one light worker activated one at a time, baby. We're coming. It's our time. And I love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.